We have all experienced care at the hands of Cornwall's NHS staff, and that includes everyone from film stars to former prime ministers. We hear a lot about how the NHS is in crisis. A lack of funding, not enough staff and too few beds mean our hospitals are often on black alert, and the waiting lists are among the longest in the UK. But we also hear regularly about the incredibly high standards of care, the compassion from the staff and the NHS heroes who save and transform lives every day. As the NHS turns 70, we thought we would take a look back at the big names who have experienced care in Cornwall over the years. David Cameron gives first press interviews after the birth of a daughter at the Royal Cornwall Hospital. Image, Mike Thomas, Pool Pictures. The Camerons, who are big fans of Cornwall, were holidaying in the county in August 2010 when the former Prime Minister's wife, Samantha, went into labour 3 weeks early. Mrs. Cameron had a short stay at the Royal Cornwall Hospital in Truro after giving birth to daughter Florence Rosendelli in bicaesarean section. The family left the hospital's maternity wing by a back door and were driven away in a people carrier with blacked-out windows. Waiting press failed to get a glimpse of the Prime Minister's wife and baby as they left the hospital in a convoy of 3 vehicles. David Cameron announces the birth of his 4th child outside the maternity ward of the Royal Cornwall Hospital in Truro. Image, Apex. A hospital spokesman confirmed Mrs. Cameron was discharged after a 3rd night at the Royal Cornwall. The baby, born weighing 6 pounds 1 ounce, was due a month later, but caught the family by surprise while they were on holiday. At the time, a Number 10 spokesman said, "Mother and baby are doing well." David Cameron later returned to Cornwall to visit hospital staff who helped deliver his daughter. He chatted to staff at the hospital and defended plans to reform the NHS, insisting, "The whole health profession is on board for what is now being done." Police at Royal Cornwall Hospital in Truro, where David Cameron's wife Samantha gave birth to a baby girl. Mr. Cameron was visiting the hospital in Truro to mark the first birthday of his youngest daughter at the Alexandria maternity ward. Wearing a pink dress and sporting a single polished toenail courtesy of her older sister Nancy, Florence was taken onto the ward to meet members of the midwifery team which helped to deliver her. The Prime Minister and his wife toured the ward, joking with staff and new parents. Consultant obstetrician Rob Jones was introduced to Florence by Mr. Cameron as the man who pulled you out of Mummy's tummy. Speaking after the visit, Mr. Jones recalled delivering the couple's 4th child during their holiday in Cornwall. "I was only aware of the pressure after the event. That's when I realized the magnitude of the situation," he said. "It was all very exciting. I didn't even think about it at the time. I had to act quickly and deal with a woman in labor." During the visit, Mr. Cameron joked, "Here we are again, 1 year on," before inviting members of the midwifery team to cuddle his youngest daughter, and wide-eyed Florence was passed around the ward for hugs. Mr. Cameron, while speaking to the parents of a baby boy, joked with Florence that she wouldn't be getting a younger brother of her own. "I'm afraid you're not going to have one of those," he said. "That's it for us, we're done." The couple have 2 older children, Nancy and Arthur Elwyn. Their other son, Ivan, who suffered from cerebral palsy and severe epilepsy, died aged 6 in 2009. Sue Perkins. Image, BBC. TV host Sue Perkins gave her own shout-out to staff at the Royal Cornwall Hospital as she appeared on the One Show on BBC One earlier this year. The broadcaster and comedian, known for the Great British Bake Off and her partnership with Mel Giedroyc, was appearing ahead of the TV BAFTAs and was on the sofa alongside head of NHS England, Simon Stevens. The show was marking 70 years of the NHS, and on a special edition of the programme, will host the NHS Patients Awards as presenters Alex Jones and Matt Baker honor and celebrate the work of NHS staff. As part of that, viewers can vote for their choice in the Unsung Hero Award. And Sue asked the presenting duo if she could give a shout-out of her own. Although she did not refer to it on air, her dad, Bert, who lived in Penwith, died in 2017 after being diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. She said, "I would like to thank everybody at Trellis Hospital in West Sick, Cornwall and the palliative care team there, who never get a nod, and all European carers who have come from all over the place for not a huge amount of money, in many cases in the most extreme of conditions. A heartfelt thank you." Also speaking on the program, Mr. Stevens said, "The health service isn't perfect, but it does an incredible job the vast majority of the time, and that's really thanks to the staff. We're a people business, and that's why it's important we celebrate and thank them as we are through your awards." Jenny Agutter, called the midwife star, Jenny Agutter officially opens the new maternity wing at the Royal Cornwall Hospital and meets the staff in the neonatal unit. Called the midwife star, Jenny Agutter is a keen supporter of the NHS and Cornwall's medical services. The television actress joined other campaigners in Penzance last month as a show of support for Cornwall's medical staff. The actress plays the kind-hearted Sister Julianne in the period drama, which follows a group of midwives living in a convent and working in the East End of London in the 1950s. Earlier this year, Jenny, who owns a home in Cadgwith on the Lizard, left the sisters behind to take a tour around the state-of-the-art birth centre and neonatal unit which opened in November last year. Sir Tim Smith, the co-founder of the Eden Project. Eden co-founder, Sir Tim Smith, moved to Cornwall in 1987. He purchased his home in Fowey after spotting the farm for sale in an estate agent's window while holidaying in the county. The Dutch-born British businessman soon rose to fame for his work on the Lost Gardens of Helligan and the Eden Project. He later became a patron of the Sunrise Appeal, which was launched at the Eden Project in November 2000 under the chairmanship of the late Bill Bishop. It is an independent charity and had the original aim of raising £500,000 towards the £5 million cost of the new clinical oncology department in Truro, now known as the Sunrise Centre. The remaining funding came from Royal Cornwall Hospitals Trust, RCHT, the New Opportunities Fund from the Lottery, Duchy Health Charity Limited, an incredible response from the public and the support of BBC Radio Cornwall. The £500,000 target was achieved in 2001. The Sunrise Centre opened in the spring 2002, meaning that patients no longer had to travel to Plymouth for treatment. The charity has continued to raise funds to ensure that the Sunrise Centre maintains its state-of-the-art status. Martin Clunes TV series Doc Martin with Martin Clunes is filmed in Port Isaac on the North Cornwall coast. One of the most famous doctors in the UK was seen in action at the Royal Cornwall Hospital at Truro in 2013. The television character Doc Martin, played by Martin Clunes, filmed a series of shots at the hospital. Outside the Princess Alexandra wing, Clunes clambered out of the back of a police Land Rover before rushing indoors. Patients, staff and visitors were marshaled aside as the television crew took over the entrance to the wing which houses the maternity and neonatal wards. Nurses Abby O'Amalo and Athena LaRoche were thrilled to see Clunes in the flesh and grabbed the star for a quick photograph. The Doc Martin series has millions of fans and attracts tourists to the North Coast fishing village of Port Isaac, where it is filmed. Leading star Martin Clunes filming in Port Isaac. Image, Ash Jacko. Clunes first found fame in the 1990s sitcom Men Behaving Badly. The first episode of Doc Martin hit the screens in 2004. A spokesman for the Royal Cornwall Hospitals Trust said at the time, "We've been delighted to welcome the Doc Martin team back to the Royal Cornwall Hospital as they film for the new series due to go out later this year. A handful of our staff have taken holiday to be extras for the day and others are enjoying something a bit different happening on site. Needless to say, we are making every effort not to inconvenience any patients or visitors, many of whom are stopping to watch and take pictures of their own." Leslie Booker, manager of Truro Golf Club, said, "I think a few members even caught a glimpse of Martin Clunes and other cast members, and it was just a pity they didn't have time to play, as the course is in such beautiful condition at the moment. It is not the first time we have had a big TV show here, as the Wycliffe cast and crew used to be frequent visitors." Duchess of Cornwall. Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. There have been many royal visits to various health centers over the years. After opening the Duchess of Cornwall Centre for Osteoporosis in Truro, HRH Camilla Parker Bowles said, "I am so pleased to have actually made it to Truro today and cannot apologize enough for having been forced to postpone this visit twice, but it seems to be the case of third time lucky for the president of the National Osteoporosis Society, NOS. I last visited the Osteoporosis Centre at the Royal Cornwall Hospital 9 years ago when I was patron of the NOS, and I'm delighted to be here again today to see the progress that has been made since then. On my previous visit, I saw what a wonderful clinical service was provided to patients from across the length and breadth of Cornwall, and I know how much educational work has gone into your Bone and Joint Awareness Weeks." Prince Charles and Camilla came back to the Royal Cornwall show this year. Image, Paul Ellis, AFP, Getty Images. It is so important to raise awareness of the joint problems of both osteoporosis and arthritis, to try and help prevent and treat these painful, debilitating and sometimes fatal conditions. It is also very encouraging that so many young people visited the center during that week, as it is vital that they learn that regular exercise and a healthy diet are of mega importance to their bone health in the future. As some of you may know, I became involved with osteoporosis after my mother and my grandmother both died as a result of the devastating disease. Then, only 14 years ago, osteoporosis was seldom discussed, rarely diagnosed and usually attributed to old women with so-called dowager's humps. Huge strides have been made since then, but we still have a long way to go. It's thanks to the work of centers such as this one, so ably led by Professor Wolf, that the light at the end of the tunnel seems to be getting closer. I congratulate you all on your huge achievements and wish you every success as you work together to deliver future generations in Cornwall and worldwide from suffering the pain and ignominy of osteoporosis. We've set up a dedicated Facebook group for our celeb and TV content. In the Cornwall Celebrity Spotting groups, you'll find the latest showbiz news, gossip, photos and videos from Cornwall Live. Plus, there'll be famous sightings in Cornwall and the secret luxury spots loved by some of the county's most famous fans. Find us at Cornwall Celebrity Spotting and click join. If you can remember any other celebrities who have praised Cornwall's doctors and nurses, send us a message on the Cornwall Live Facebook page.